Me Solo. Because we have Dr. Solo at our offer right now. The last one we have from Dr. Solo was 2484, which, if some of you remember, was the top of mayonnaise that like slowly overflowed, and if you get a chunk out of it, it's just kind of like attacks you like the I swear to Christ. I cannot believe that I forgot the name of the aliens that jump in your mouth. Again! Fucking again. That happened while I was reading that SCP and I forgot again. How is this? Facehuggers, exactly, yes. Because it's just kind of like, and then goes into your throat, into your pores, anything that counts as in absorbing it, just to create some parasites inside you. So that's the last one we read from Dr. Solo. And now we have Bones of Contention. Bones of Contention. Here we go. Oh, a short one. Object class Euclid. Special contained procedures. SCP-2563 is surrounded by a perimeter fence and is to be patrolled by no less than 6 members of Mobile Task Force Omicron 3. Any individuals found in or near SCP-2563 are to be removed from the area and told they were trespassing on a private nature preserve. Should any such individuals observe SCP-2563's anomalous effects, close air amnesty should be administered. You forgot the most descriptive name ever. Yeah, it happens, man. I know it happens, man. It happens. Sometimes your brain farts and you just... the most simplest thing escapes ya. Don't act like you guys don't have those moments. SCP-2563 is a roughly circular area of land within Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Ohio, with an area of approximately 1.7 kilometers squared. When any non-living skeletal tissue or similar equivalent one is brought into SCP-2563, it will reanimate and begin locomoting throughout the area. Such reanimated entities are designated -1. This effect also extends to fossilized skeletal matter. Should any reanimated material be removed from SCP-2563, anomalous effects will immediately cease. SCP-2563 does not affect living skeletal material or other organic tissues. Though the effects of SCP-2563 extend to endoskeleton, exoskeletal, shell, dental, horn, nail, claw, scleri, testicle, frustula, and capsular matter, the word... thecal, I think, not thecal. The words skeletal and skeleton are used for ease of reading. Instance of -1 will seek out and attempt to kill any organisms possessing a skeleton, but do not appear to move with any other purpose. -1 instances do not appear to notice organisms without skeletal structures and ignore other instances -1 though certain separate instances will appear to cooperate to kill targets. This behavior has been recorded in a group of 8 gray wolves. Hey, we have wolves again, yeah! Skeletons in a group of 3 lion, Panthera, Leo skeletons. Hey! It is not currently known how instances of -1 perceive the environment of what force holds them together and allows them to move. Any organisms that die within the boundaries of SCP-2563 will immediately reanimate into an instance of -1. Non-skeletal organic components of such instances will continue to decay as normal. SCP-2563 is believed to have been inactive until its discovery on the 2nd 6, 2012, when a group of hikers in Cuyahoga National Park reported seeing a huge dinosaur skeleton to park authorities. Not in the museum, eh? The park ranger who investigated the report radioed for help shortly after and did not return to the ranger station. Foundation operators were brought in and discovered an instance of -1 composed of a largely intact fossilized remnant of a Tyrannosaurid skeleton, believed to have unearthed itself from an outcrop near the center of SCP-2563. Species previously unknown to science, tentatively named Tyrannosaurus fundamentum. member of MTF-3, Spooky Scary, were able to successfully lure the instance into the center of SCP-2563, where they were able to critically damage its legs, effectively crippling the instance. MTF-03 operators also discovered the newly reanimated body of the missing park ranger, which exhibited damage believed to be consistent with a Tyrannosaur attack. The body was removed from the area and returned to the ranger's family after being deemed non-anomalous. Basically like skeleton zombies almost, huh? That's how it sounds like, reanimated skeletons. This would make a fine 1950s B-movie. I mean, it also works as like just take Night of, and just combine Jurassic Park and Night in the Museum, and then you can have like a early 2000s, late 90s version of this movie as well. Upon exploration of SCP-2563, MTF-3 Operative 3-4 discovered a 1997 Jeep Cherokee parked and running with keys in the ignition and the driver's side door ajar. Are we gonna have the moment? Are we gonna have the moment that I think we're gonna have? Let's see here. MTF-3 Agent Adrian Tip Esquerra. The vehicle was later determined to be registered to a Johann living in Ohio. Upon investigation, no such person was found to have ever lived in the state. Inside the trunk of the vehicle, the operative found approximately 35,000 USD, a 3-meter spool of silver wire, and a chisel. A note was discovered in the glove compartment described below. To do: swing by the warehouse to get things crossed out. Oh yeah. Set up a rifle spot in Cuyahoga. Clean up. Deposit cash. Get milk. Lock up before you take Jacob to Oregon. Who the fuck's Jacob? Shortly after discovering the vehicle, the operative was attacked by an instance of -1. Black Bear Ursus Americanus. The instance was undeterred by 03-4 standard weaponry, but collapsed immediately after chasing 03-4 outside of SCP-2563. When Agent 03-4 returned to the side of the car, the vehicle had disappeared. I was hoping we were gonna get a Jurassic Park like the stomping of the dinosaur, the water, and then and then it's just the car going on, just like having to drive away. It's a shame. Subsequent necropsy of the instance of -1 determined cause of death to be 45 rounds to the skull. Minutes before the attack on 03-4. Okay, so somebody already shot him? Addendum 1. Although the effect of SCP-2563 was originally believed to only apply to bone, exploration of the area revealed several reanimated arthropod exoskeletons as well as reanimated diatomic shells in the soil. Testing has found that this extends to virtually all solid organic materials found in animals, protists, protozoans, and diatoms. Wow. So anything that technically considered like skeletal or like yeah, like a shell in that area was just during exploration of SCP-2563, a squad of several MTF-03 operators were attacked by a swarm of SCP-2563 instances consisting of an estimated 500 individual entities. Ball-faced hornets. Oh shit. Dolichospula maculata. While fleeing from the swarm, one operative tripped over an exposed root and reportedly fell face first into a puddle of rainwater. MTF-03-8X Agent Richard Tarsi Riley. Over the next 5 days, this operative reported increasingly painful throat and chest discomfort until they collapsed during a routine perimeter check of SCP-2563 and were immediately removed to be given medical attention. I have a bad feeling about this. The operative died soon thereafter. Subsequent autopsy discovered extreme tissue damage to the operative esophagus, stomach, and lungs, but was unable to determine cause. Microscopic tissue analysis found large amounts of diatomic remains in these tissues, hypothesized to have entered the body through groundwater the operative was exposed to. Yeah, makes sense. Because like they fell face first in the rainwater, and the rainwater probably had a bunch of things in it that were technically a skeleton, and then they just swallowed it. Imagine a snail shell trying to attack you. A reanimated exoskeleton somehow more creepy than a reanimated endoskeleton. I like it. It's a moving shell filled with dead flesh. Yup. And it's also like, it's also the case of like, if you, in some like a lore, right, like you can burn zombies, but in this case you couldn't, because the skeleton, I mean the skeleton would take damage, but like they could still like at least function to a certain extent. Addendum 2, as part of testing on SCP-2563, a composite tetrapod skeleton composed of bones from various species was brought into SCP-2563. Gray wolf, domestic cattle, bottlenose dolphin, horse, and American alligator. The object began lightly vibrating for approximately 63 minutes before animating and beginning to move. The instance was observed walking through SCP-2563 for roughly 8 hours before collapsing. The bones of each species then separated and began moving as 5 separate instances of -1. Addendum 3, during testing, approximately 50 kilograms of bone shards ranging from 1 to 5 centimeters long were brought into SCP-2563. Sourced from domestic cattle and domestic chicken. Mass of shards vibrated lightly for approximately 35 minutes before the entire mass animated and began moving as an enormous swarm-like entity. The entity attacked on-site MTF-03 operatives, though it was only able to inflict serious injury through standard issue body armor. When personnel exited SCP-2563, the entity appeared to lose interest and retreated further into SCP-2563. Entity was estimated to be able to move at speeds of roughly 300 kilometers per hour. That is fucking fast. Just this combination of bones just being faster than a car, man, or at least like top speed of a car. God damn. You cannot escape that shit. How could you? God damn. That is terrifyingly fast. You know, and it's also another case of like outrunning it is like kind of impossible, because like you as a human being, you need to breathe and your body and muscles ache. That thing doesn't have muscle aches. It doesn't have lungs. It can just run as long as it wants to. It can just go as long as it wants to. Like, it's just, yeah. What are you gonna do? And even if you have to, like, even if by chance you have to deal with a skeleton that's slow, that's like from something that's slower than you, it still has more stamina. I guess I assume once you leave the area of effect, that's when it's just kind of like. I assume at least. Although 300 kilometers per hour, like that area is not big enough for. And to use that speed completely, I assume. Actually, let me go back. How big of an area is it? Yeah, it's 1.7 kilometers squared area. Like, unless they just unless that very. I mean, you can calculate that speed easily if you see how fast it like goes off, and you're like, okay, now we saw how fast it got from that point to that point. Through our cameras, and it's calculate how fast it goes, and then you can calculate how fast it will go per, like, you know, hour. That is possible, but being able to run 300 kilometers per hour in a 1.7 kilometer cubed area, I'm like, that's just overkill. On like that guy put all the stats in speed, and there's no place for it to use all that speed. I would hate that. I love running. Super speed is my favorite superpower, but imagine like you have super speed, but you can only use it in a fucking town area. You're like, great, thanks. Can you imagine if you're accidentally trying to eat some chicken and the bone just kicks you? A creature would make a good MTF. I would have imagined that the chicken would not kick me. I feel like one of the bones was just like stab me in the throat. I'd be like, the chicken, if it could talk, choke on it, choke on it. If you know the movie that's from, well done, you're a real one.